Good morning.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, y'all. This is the WOWW Podcast, WOWW, Wendy's on Wellness Wednesday. I'm Dr. Wendy Sue, owner of Freedom Holistic Wellness, integrative medicine practitioner, author, holistic nutrition specialist, owner with my husband of Grace and Grove Homestead, wife, mom, Gigi, lover of Jesus, lover of all things natural. And this is my amazing bestie, Wendy Flournoy.
Hey guys, Wendy Flournoy, certified hypnotherapist, herbalist, forager, educator, student, wife, mom, Gigi, lover of all things non-toxic and God-given.
Amen, sister. So we missed last week.
We did.
There was when I came on live 2 weeks ago without you. You have missed 2 weeks.
Yes.
When I came on live 2 weeks ago about you, it was very emotional. We had just found out what was going on with Rick. Then last week you were very caught up in all the visits and all that he needed.
Yes.
And my grandbabies and my daughter surprised me for a visit for my birthday. So we said, okay, this week's podcast is not happening. So appreciate everybody who reached out and said, are you guys okay?
We appreciate your rigid flexibility because life.
Yes, life. And I can tell you, I love when my grandbabies are here, but Hurricane Alexa and Tornado Carter are not going to allow me to focus on a podcast for a couple of hours.
You should spend every stinking second with them when they're there.
I sure did. I tell you what, it was, and what a blessing for them to have come during that 4-day weird snap when we had, summer like weather.
Right.
And I mean, it was incredible. So, we were able to do a whole lot while they were here. And it was just such a blessing.
I love that. I love they did that to surprise you for your birthday.
Yes.
And happy belated birthday. Because we did last week.
Yes. Saturday, I turned 52, which I just cannot even believe. It just blows my mind. It's like, how fast does this life happen? It's
very, very, very fast.
Yeah. Yeah. This month, Bill knows that I used to always be, oh, this is my birth month. Let's do stuff all month. We come into March and he was just like, oh boy, your birth month. And I was like, my first 50 years, that was a thing. Now I'm just kind of like, whatever,
Yeah. Just another day, right?
But it was such a blessing having them here this last week. So
I love that.
So that's why we did not meet. I've been very wrapped up in making sure that I'm getting all ready for our the conference in Ohio. 1 month. I'm so excited. And my presentation, my PowerPoint was due Monday. And so I've been really, gearing up for, okay, this is what I'm going to talk about and everything. And I'm very happy with how the presentation turned out. So
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I know it's fantabulous. I already know it.
Yeah.
I'm getting excited. They sent out an email. I think it was yesterday or early this morning. I can't remember when I checked my email, but 1 month. And I was like, oh man, it'll be here before we know it.
And it's sold out. 985 tickets gone. So, I mean, what a great event this is going to be. And I'm sure this is probably, you and I said this last year, this is probably the last year they'll have it at that church, which is a great place to have it. But
they have certainly outgrown it.
Yeah.
And that is a very good thing.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all don't know what we're talking about the Seeking Whole Health Conference in Wooster, Ohio. It's a Christian-based health conference.
Yeah, it's Christian natural living.
Yes.
The ladies that run this are
amazing.
Salt of the earth. Yes. Absolutely love them. So easy to work with. And they've just been such a blessing. I'm very excited to see them in person again and just to see, this will be our second.
Yeah.
So for us to be able to see, how this has even grown over, from last year to this year, and then what
you're a speaker and you have an intensive too. So
yeah. And I found out yesterday that if anybody's going and you want to attend my intensive, there's only 2 seats left. So it's almost sold out. I was wondering because I saw a couple of them were already sold out. But they were the big name people, Dr. Ben Edwards, his is sold out. Jasmine's is sold out, which I knew they would be. And I'm two away from being sold out. So
we got our Rachel girl going to Jasmine's.
Yes. I love Jasmine. She's the one I went to last year. And for anybody who doesn't know, Wendy and I just talk. Christian
Herbal Magazine.
Absolutely one of the best magazines out there. If you are Christian and into natural healing, oh my goodness. And Jasmine Lucero. She's the one that is the publisher of that and the creator. And she does a fantastic job. I love her. Yes. I love her.
I'm going to tell you, and it's that magazine is extremely affordable for anybody. Yep. It is chock full of great information. I learned so much from it every time I get my copy. I get hard copy and digital.
Yes. And that is one, I need to do it before I let it get away from me too far. That is one that is worthy of hole punching and putting in a 3-ring binder and just keeping a whole set for each year. Oh my goodness. The information, it's one of those things you don't ever want to throw it away. It's just
because it's got so much in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very good.
So anyway, talk to us about Rick, honey. Tell us what's been going on with you guys.
The story, Wendy, I heard a little bit of yours and mainly caught your prayer 2 weeks ago because it moved me to tears, and I appreciate that. So thank you, because I know that you believe like I do that in the power of prayer. Sadly, he's still in pain. He has a mass in his sacral area, which now we know that is a very common side effect of multiple myeloma transplant patients, which if they ever told us in the last 4 years with all this going on, neither one of us knew that. So I was praying that it wasn't a secondary cancer. So it's not.
Thank God.
Which is a very good thing. Yeah. However, the mass is fairly large, according to the images and what I read in his health chart and everything. So there was no question. They told us that he needed radiation immediately. There was no chance of surgery because of its size and wrapped around nerves of the spine. So whether it was cancer or not, they said he was having radiation and immediately scheduled him. He had radiation every day last week, and sadly he's still in pain. We haven't seen any good effects from it yet. We see the radiation oncologist this Friday, and hopefully we'll know a little bit more, but just pray that God give him some relief. He's tough as nails and he has a very high pain tolerance. He did agree this time to take the pain meds. Mm-hmm. They worked for 2 days and stopped working. So he took them for 2 more days and they didn't do anything. So he was like, I'm not taking them. They're not doing anything. I'm not taking them. He is a recovering alcoholic, so he doesn't like to put himself in a position of becoming addicted to anything. Sure. So he's like, I knew he was in pain when he agreed to take the medicine.
Yeah, that does say a lot. It definitely says a lot.
So he did at least get 2 days of, no 12 level pain. And, I don't know how even the toughest person in the world can tolerate a pain like that on a long-term thing.
I know.
So now we're just praying that he gets some pain relief. He is working. And he's better at work because his mind is focused on work, and it's like, as long as he doesn't have that excruciating shots, he said he can manage. Okay. Then he gets home and it's like he suffers at night because he's kind of blocked it all day.
Yeah.
So just pray for that. And I appreciate all of your prayers, and keep my friend Michelle in prayer too. I am going with her this afternoon for the latest PET scan results, because the cancer had spread from her lungs to her stomach. And we'll see what the results of the PET scan are today. She asked if I would attend with her because she was fearful of what they're going to tell her.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we will definitely be lifting her up, you up. You're, you know, we will obviously continue to lift Rick and everybody who's battling up, but a lot of people forget how important it is to pray for those that are caring for them and loving them. And you have a lot going on with you, even just in the worry of what could be coming, and if this pain doesn't get under control. And
I am a little stressed. I've been praying a lot more. That's why I have makeup on today, y'all. So because my face is very blotchy from stress.
Yeah.
But I am praying for the peace.
Yeah.
Because I'm not an anxiety person. I have been drinking the teas, and Rick and I will be going on another alkaline diet.
Good.
Because that worked for us before when he started this process. So we're going to be doing that. And of course, I'm going to do it with him, as boring as it is.
Yes. It's so therapeutic. And it was really funny because for those watching, we didn't discuss that Wendy and Rick were getting ready to start back on it, though I'm not surprised because they had such good results with it before when he was battling.
Yeah.
And that's what I plan to talk about today, knowing that Rick had this going on. So completely unplanned, I'm talking about alkaline diets today, and we'll do that.
Well, I think it really is, as far as I've researched, and you can tell me because you know better about the food and everything. As far as I've researched about nutrition and food, it really is the best thing to get things under control quickly.
It is. It's you need something that is not going to feed the tumor. You also need to create an environment that the tumor cannot thrive in. And the tumor does not thrive in a low inflammation, alkaline environment, and what it does for the cellular health. When you're eating an alkaline diet, and well, we'll talk about it more specific here in a minute, but it's definitely something that and this is for any disease. You can do targeted nutrition to make sure that whatever disease you are facing, that disease cannot thrive. That's right. Our goal with targeted nutrition. And so this is just one example of what we do with that.
And when it can't thrive, it kind of stops it in its tracks. Yeah. And maybe possibly always talk to your doctor. Reverses things.
Well, I mean, truly, I mean, that's just it, is that, when you're not, so many people are of the mindset with cancer, especially, they're battling, let them eat whatever they want. And that drove me nuts. I know I've shared that before.
When Rick's oncologist said he could eat whatever he wanted. And I just looked at him and was like, we won't be doing that.
No. And that's it, is that the oncologists don't know. It's sad that they don't know, but they don't know. Yeah. They're taught pills and procedures. So they don't understand the effects of nutrition, which still blows my mind. But anyway, it's just facts.
Well, I told her, I said, I thought by now it was common knowledge that sugar feeds cancer.
Yeah.
I thought that was common knowledge. I really did.
And having an inflamed environment does. So what's the best thing to keep an inflamed environment? Processed foods.
Yeah.
So what are people doing when they have cancer? Oh, let me go eat, the pizza, the chips, the breads, the stuff that makes me feel all warm and fuzzy. Meanwhile, that cancer's loving every minute of it.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's, while I appreciate the sentiments, people would joke and say, just let Bill eat the donuts and all that stuff. No, because I want my husband to live. It's like, I want this cancer to be gone. Yep. And so, no, I'm not going to just let him eat the donuts,
Yep.
And does that mean that we followed alkaline 1,000%? No, because I got tired of him whining about not having meat.
To be strict alkaline, we did it. Rick and I did it for 8 weeks that first time around.
Yeah.
And the doctors were blown away because they had told us 18 months minimum before his numbers moved. And we got him to start moving in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So he was ready for transplant way before the time that they told us it was going to be. And I'm like, after about 8 weeks, that was enough for me.
Yeah.
It's very strict. It is. I mean, pretty much beans and vegetables.
Yeah. I mean, it is. It is strict. And, but
but it's worth it when you have a goal in mind and a mission to accomplish like that.
Mm-hmm.
You just keep thinking about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that was motivation enough for us to keep going, especially when the second week when his numbers started moving.
Right.
That gave us more motivation to keep doing it, to see where we could get to.
Yeah.
So this time it's going to be the same kind of thing, because he's at minimum, he's scheduled to go to this doctor once a month now.
Yeah.
We'll be able to keep an eye on levels and how things are going that quickly. So hopefully it'll be motivation enough to keep going until we can get this under control. And hopefully y'all pray for this too, that with us being on that for so long, he'll give up his bad habits with food.
He did it before. He can do it again.
I know, but he fell back off the wagon, and that we have to pick our battles. So there's some things I'm just not going to fight.
Yeah, no,
not until he's ready. If you're talking to someone constantly that's just not ready to make that change, it's not going to happen.
I do it every day. Yeah. I talk to people every day who want results but don't want to do the work. And the best thing I can tell them is, look, when you're willing to put in the work, it's going to change your life. And if you're doing it naturally, you're not going to have to deal with the side effects later in life as a result.
That's right. That's why the GLP-1s are so popular, because you don't have to put in the work.
Right. Right. I wish more people would, because then they could easily get off of them.
Right.
If they actually use them the way some of the commercials portray them, or how some practitioners say, oh, we're going to get you to change your lifestyle and stuff. Most of the people that I know that are on them, that is not what they're doing. No. And I don't mean that as shame. Y'all hear my heart in this. And this is just my,
I keep praying that people don't experience side effects that I've seen people experience.
Oh, I've seen some horrible ones. And I actually have a lady that she's in our community. She has done amazing with my GLP-1 protocol, and she's doing it in honor of her mother, who died after having complications from Ozempic. And it's like, it's very close to her heart. I've seen it with so many people. And that's why I tell people, I'm like, I'm not shaming anybody any more than I am, when they're on diabetes medications. And I don't shame anybody for any medications, but diabetes medications
for everything. And we of all people totally get why people are doing it. We totally get it.
Yes. I mean, if I've said so many times, if this would have come out a dozen years earlier, or 15 years earlier,
oh, girl, we would have been all over it.
We would have been on them, because you and I were both the yo-yo dieting queens.
Yep, trying everything.
Absolutely. I know I would have been on them.
Yep.
But now that I know what I know, and I've done enough research, if there was a pill out there that I could tell somebody, hey, do this, or take this shot, or do whatever, and you can forego all this stuff and there'd be no problems in life later on, because I want to see people lose weight. I want to see people get their bodies healthier. The problem is, that is an example of weight loss doesn't equal weight health, or it doesn't equal health.
That's right.
And it is so sad how many people I see having complications from them, and people don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
As soon as you try and talk to them and say, hey, I wish you'd let me teach you a better way, to naturally boost your GLP-1. And I'm so glad I'm gonna have a whole conference of people willing to listen,
That's right.
If people were willing to do this naturally, and not put their bodies through all that's going to cause complications later. I mean, yep, everybody's going to know somebody who had no problems with it. They are. I mean, that's any medication, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when there's such a lot of things we don't know because it's so new, and yet everything we do know in the clinical trials is pretty darn scary, and there's a black box warning, and there's all these other things, and people just put a blinder up to that and say, I don't care, I'm doing it anyway.
There's a lawsuit against a couple of them already for women, older women, I'm going to say 40 to 60, that have come together for a class action lawsuit because they went blind.
Yep. That's very true.
And I'm like, how scary is that?
It's very true. And I'm not talking, we're not talking like just had a decrease in vision, like fully blind.
Totally blind.
Yep.
The ages of the class action lawsuit women are the ages of 40 to 60.
Yeah. Perimenopausal. There's so much happening in your body at that time. The last thing you need is to be throwing something foreign in there that doesn't belong there that you could do on your own. And so we weren't going to talk about GLP-1s today, but it is just one example of when we talk about anything naturally that can be done over top of conventional medicine, understand that it is just our heart to see people get better without the side effects, and to get better in the way that, so that their body can be utilized and heal the way God intended.
For long-term healing.
Long-term. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
All right. So y'all want to talk about saffron?
Let's talk about it, girl. I'm excited about this. I've been wanting to learn more and more about saffron.
Well, a couple of years ago, I purchased some saffron. They call them chromes. Mm-hmm. So they're mini bulbs. So they're about this big, they're little, they're round, and you plant them in early fall.
Okay.
And late fall, they bloom. That's how quick. Yes, that's how quick. And it's only like a 2-week period that they come up and bloom. And in case you didn't know,
I know they look just like crocuses with little.
I didn't have any, so I had to print pictures. Yeah, they just look just like crocus. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because the Latin name for saffron is Crocus sativus. Mm. And thank you, Janet.
Yes.
Janet was like, oh, that's saffron's cousin.
Yep, I would have never known. But it made total sense when she said that.
So the actual saffron is the thistles, the 3 thistles. So every plant, every flower that comes up will have those 3 thistles, and that's what you harvest. Mm-hmm. Okay, it is an expensive herb.
It is.
Okay? So it's like, so there's a bowl of it. That's a lot of money right there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
After you harvest the thistles and the flower dies off, then you dig up the bulb and you keep them in a dry spot till next year.
Really? And just replant the same bulb?
Yes. Isn't that wild?
That is wild. That's unlike
I got sidetracked and forgot to dig mine up, so I lost mine.
Aww.
So we're gonna have to do that again. I think what I'm gonna do next time I do it is have a dedicated container instead of putting them in the yard. That way I'll remember.
Yeah.
But it's a wild to me, and it's amazing to me how that grows. But they say that you have to, in order to get a harvestable amount to actually use, you have to do a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, but it's still worth it, I think, to have a little around, because even 3 thistles will make a great cup of tea.
Oh yeah.
You need. Just a little goes a long way when it comes to the saffron. So
do you let it naturally dry, or do you freeze dry it, or what do you do?
I let it naturally dry because they're very delicate. They're very fragile. So if you just set them on a paper towel, it's like max of 2 days.
Okay.
And they're dry. If you harvest them and set them on a paper towel, you could put one in a tea that night.
Okay.
You know, I tend to harvest in the morning, by the way. It is warming yet slightly drying. It is a great bitter herb, but it also is slightly sweet, which is kind of unique in the herbs, the bitter, especially the bitter herbs. It smells amazing. It is the most valuable herb in the world because of its labor intensive. It has to be hand harvested because of the thistles being so fragile.
Gotcha.
Let's see.
Will they pluck right off the flower, or do you need to cut them?
No, they pluck right off.
Okay. Do they reproduce more, or does each flower only do the 3? You know what I mean? Like if you leave them for,
that's a good question, because I think if you leave them in the ground, you're supposed to like cover them and things like that, to kind of protect them. They will spread, to my knowledge, but they don't bloom as well from what I've read.
Interesting.
I don't have the experience with it. Well, maybe I'll get some more and we'll just have to experiment with them to see what happens. Because I would think if I put them in a dedicated container, let them bloom and harvest them, and don't dig them up, but bring the container in while they're dormant, I'm wondering if they would spread better that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jerry, and thanks, Joanna, for your comment earlier. We're starting to get comments, and I don't know that we get them all, y'all, but we do start to get them. But Jerry said he uses saffron in some of his Mediterranean dishes, and I have saffron in quite a few of my recipes too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
it's delicious.
Joanna, thank you for praying for my husband.
Yes.
Yeah, that's neat. We never had that before.
All of a sudden, it must be some update on our
I love it.
Platform. Yeah, that's fun.
Okay, so the key constituents of saffron is antioxidant, it's mood support, it's calming, it's neuroprotective, and it's because it's bitter, it's great for the digestive system. Anything that's bitter is going to be good for the digestive system. Okay, so therapeutic actions would be nervine to calm the nerves, antidepressant, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, digestive support, and it's been known to be an aphrodisiac.
Okay.
A typical dose would be like 15 to 30 milligrams. I would say, like I said, 3 thistles per cup of tea. But what you don't want is to boil water over it. You want to have warm water, not boiling water. Like I said, you just have to remember that it's fragile.
Yeah.
So less is more.
Okay.
Helps to promote emotional balance. The seasonal affective disorder. It's great for that, Wendy.
Good.
It's great for reducing PMS symptoms. Support because it supports the libido and the reproduction health. It supports memory and focus because of the neuroprotective properties to it. Stimulates digestion, helps reduce bloating. It also supports retinal health.
Interesting.
Yeah, may assist with age-related vision concerns. Which that part about saffron I did not know. The rest of it I did know. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
I might have to ingest a whole bunch of that.
I'm thinking I may have to put saffron tea into my rotation.
Yeah, no doubt. Need all the help with my eyes I can get.
Right. Now, you do want to be cautious, as always, if you're pregnant, breastfeeding, if you have low blood pressure, or you are taking antidepressants, you want to talk to your primary care physician before starting a regimen of saffron. It's great added to rice, milks, desserts, pairs well with honey, cardamom, cinnamon, rose, anything like that. And like Jerry said, Mediterranean dishes, all kinds of culinary uses for saffron.
Yeah.
Let's see. We already went over that. planting, growing. It amazed me because I was like, how in the world, if I plant these in October, how in the world are they going to be up and ready by November? And they sure were.
Isn't that amazing? That's fascinating.
So I was like, oh, yeah, because I had no idea that any kind of bulb grew that quickly, you know?
I didn't either. That's why I was wondering if in that 2-week window, do they like create new blooms within that? Or it probably just blooms once, you get the 3, and then it just closes back up.
That was my experience.
Okay.
Okay. So, and I can't remember that lady's name. I brought those corms from a lady online. That was like her side gig. That's what she did. Her whole entire yard was saffron.
Oh my word.
And she would harvest it, and she would keep the thistles, and then she would sell half of the bulbs. Yeah. So I was like, okay, this is cool. This is kind of cool.
That is wild. Wow. All right. Anything else with saffron?
It's just one of those herbs where it's like you don't want to go crazy with it, but small intentional doses go a long way. Just like cooking with it, just small amounts go a very long way. And I did pick a scripture to go with this.
Okay.
All right. That just kind of led me to it. Psalm 30:11. It says, "You have turned for me my mourning into dancing. You have loosed my sackcloth and clothed me with gladness."
I love that.
And that that verse reminded me of saffron.
Yes. I love that. You know, it's really interesting. I just got the opportunity 2 Saturdays ago to speak to the women of my church and talking to them about my signature talk that has become what I've been asked to speak on, for the last year, Fuel for the Calling.
Yeah.
And I was sharing with them how, because like King David wrote that, and that psalm, along with Psalm 31, shows how sin, how trying to hide things from God, how much that affects our mental health.
Yes.
And then ultimately our physical health, before science ever said so. It's in scripture. Because David got really, really sick when he, had when he had committed adultery with Bathsheba, when he had her husband Uriah killed, all this stuff that he was doing, and he became physically ill. And it just shows how much, the spiritual health has an effect on our physical being. So you made me think of that, because that's all part of that scripture portion. And
it's so funny how God will lead me to different verses when I'm working with a particular herb.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, for some reason he wants me to attach that.
Yeah. That's so cool. And I think, am I mistaken, was saffron in the Bible anywhere as one of the herbs?
That's a good question.
I don't remember. I'm feeling like I recall it, but maybe not. I have a book. I know I've shared it with you before. What is it called? Eat the Bible is what it's called. But it's all these different recipes using biblical foods based on certain passages. And like certain parts of the Bible, like what Adam and Eve would have eaten in the garden, and then, what they would have eaten at Passover, and all these different things. So it's really kind of neat the way it does it. And I feel like saffron was part of that, but I could be wrong.
I'll look that up and we'll have an answer next week.
Cool. Sounds good.
I'm thinking it may be too.
Yeah. I know it's an ancient herb.
Yes.
So, which a lot of the ancient herbs are actually mentioned
in the Bible.
So just be a neat little tidbit.
Yeah. We'll find out.
Cool. Anything else on that, baby?
That's all I have for Saffron. I hope that helped. That was requested by my friend Stephanie Beach.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So if anyone else has a requested herb that you want to know more about and us to go into, just let us know.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I know we started kind of talking about it a little bit, but let's talk about targeted nutrition. Yeah. And I really felt led to talk about this because of what Rick and Wendy are going through and what other people go through. One of the things that I do with clients, and this is why it's so important to have somebody that understands holistic nutrition in your corner.
Yes.
You can Google all day long, best diet for XYZ, and you're going to get 50,000 results. You're going to get different things all the time. There is no one size fits all answer. Yes, I have the same general things I recommend for everybody. No processed food, avoid all, commercial gluten, avoid all soy, based stuff. So I have the same general thing that I apply to everybody because it works. And because our options right now in this world of processed foods, of gluten, commercial gluten and soy, are very inflammatory and not good for any health condition. Nope. But when you're doing targeted nutrition, there are things you need to do sometimes temporarily that will help whatever you're working on. Like right now, I'm working on this reverse aging pathway with a lot of people. And our focus is metabolic health and reduction of inflammation. So it's very targeted on what we're doing for those purposes. For cancer, when I work with people with cancer, I go right to a diet that I know works, but that I would never recommend for any other condition.
Yep.
So understand that targeted nutrition is important, and it's usually seasonal. And I mean seasonal by, this season.
It's not for the long term.
Right.
Alkaline diet is great and it accomplishes a purpose. To me, it's just not long-term sustainable.
Right. It's not. And there's a lot of people that won't commit to something like this for their healing because they think that they're doing this forever. If you look at it as a temporary thing and that it's therapeutic and it is part of your medicine, which is truly what it should be looked at.
Yes.
We should be fueling ourselves medicinally.
Yes.
We should be fueling ourselves in a way that is therapeutic for whatever we have going on. And at every stage, like what I'm telling my daughter-in-law to eat, who is pregnant with my third grandbaby, and what I'm recommending her to eat is very different from what I would be recommending Rick to eat right now.
Right, exactly.
And so it's just, there's targeted periods where you want to encourage different types of diets. My cousin, Joel Dooley, he's a bishop. He said Song of Solomon 4:14. I wonder if that's where Saffron's mentioned.
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't have it in front of me to be able to look it up. I'm dying to check that out. Thank you, Joel. Thanks. We'll definitely check that out. All right. So, this is the alkaline eating is very controversial among, he said it's in a list of different spices. Awesome. That's what I thought. I had a feeling. So Song of Solomon 4:14. We'll have to check that out. Nice. Thank you, Joel. I appreciate that. So there's a lot of controversy. I have had friends who have battled cancer and their doctors tell them that this is hogwash, that alkaline eating doesn't help. I'm telling you, as Wendy shared, they saw the results in Rick's blood a solid 18 months faster than his doctor expected. With Bill,
she did not want to know what he was doing.
Right.
She did not. She did not know. She was like the second week when his numbers moved, she was blown away because she wasn't expecting that for 18 months, and we got it done in 2 weeks to finally get his numbers to move. And she was like, "What are you doing?" She did ask him finally, "What are you doing?" And he said, "My wife's got me eating some kind of diet." She didn't want to know. That was it. She didn't ask him anything else anymore.
Goes against the narrative.
Yeah.
Medicine has to fix everything, right?
Yeah.
So what you're doing, the reason why doctors don't believe in this, or a lot of doctors, I know Bill's doctor became a believer.
Yeah.
I mean, he said, Bill's a smoker. For him to be 50, have cancer, what was he, 51 at the time, I guess, 51, have cancer, be a lifelong smoker since he was like 8 or 9 years old, and to have healed the way he healed as rapidly as he did.
Yep.
His radiation oncologist looked at me and said, you are the way you fed him is the reason, because we see what radiation and chemo does. It never works that quickly, especially not on somebody who should have had everything else stacked against them.
Yeah.
So we've seen it with our own 2 eyes, but the reason why a lot of doctors don't believe in this is because, so your blood pH is really tightly controlled. And anybody who's ever been in the medical field, if you've ever had to do blood gases on somebody or whatever, generally 7.35 to 7.45. And your diet does not significantly change that blood pH. That is what people have thought that the alkaline diet is doing. It is not actually changing the blood pH. So why does it help? It's because of what the diet removes and emphasizes.
Okay.
It's so alkaline diets are typically high in vegetables, high fiber, low to no sugar,
Yeah.
little to no processed foods, and reducing refined carbs. So what this leads to is a decrease in systemic inflammation, decrease in insulin spikes, which makes a difference in tumors, and reduces oxidative stress. So all of this is critical in cancer environments.
Yep.
So what you're accomplishing by doing this is you are creating an environment that is not friendly for cancer. When you have cancer, it thrives in an inflammatory environment. It thrives under stress. One of the things that drives me nuts, though, yes, there's a lot of proof that people have healed from, using chemo and radiation. It puts your body under so much stress that is why your body, yes, it might be killing the tumor, but it's also killing you. And
that's the bad thing about most of the treatments is they don't just kill the bad.
Right. They kill the good too. Exactly. Yeah. And so tumor environments tend to be more acidic locally because there is a lot of glycolysis and lactate production. They also tend to be a hypoxic area. So you want healthy foods that are going to bring the oxygen throughout your body. And they're also metabolically dysregulated. So it's what's known as the Warburg effect. That's what tumor environments are and where they thrive. So cancer cells rely heavily on glucose fermentation to produce the lactic acid. If you are not providing your body excess glucose, it can't do that.
That's right.
So your diet is influencing the terrain, okay? Not the blood pH like so many doctors brush off, and they're right to brush that off. It's the terrain. So while diet doesn't change blood pH significantly, it can influence tissue environment. It can influence inflammation, insulin signaling, and mitochondrial function. So you're changing the terrain, not the bloodstream directly.
That makes sense.
You want an environment that cancer hates.
Yes.
That's what you want.
Yes.
So if you are lowering your glucose, you have less fuel for cancer cells. An alkaline style diet often reduces sugar, reduces refined carbohydrates, and this leads to a decrease in insulin, decrease in the IGF-1 signaling, which is a tumor signal, a tumor factor is what I meant to say, decreases glucose availability. And these pathways are linked to cancer growth and proliferation. So you want to stop the cancer in its tracks. Most alkaline diets are very plant rich. And this is why this is not something that I recommend for everybody. I have a lot of friends that swear by a vegan diet. I'm telling you, vegan diets for a long-term, for targeted nutrition, for something like this,
Sure.
I'm all about being vegan. Do a vegan diet for cancer. Avoid the excess animal proteins and things like that. That's fantastic for this. Doing a vegan diet for normal functioning health, not optimal at all. So the alkaline diets are high in polyphenols, flavonoids, and antioxidants because it is so plant rich, and that helps to create the environment that cancer does not want to won't thrive in. It reduces oxidative stress, supports detox pathways, and influences gene expression, which again is important because if you have gene expression that is anti-cancer, you're not going to get the regeneration of the cancer cells. Whereas if you're fueling your body with donuts and pizza and sodas and all the things, that tumor is going, woohoo, we're going to just keep on producing.
Yep, keep on growing.
So also the acid load and kidney function. This is something else scientifically that's going on too. There's evidence that high dietary acid load with processed foods, excess animal protein, and low produce, low fruits and vegetables, can increase your cortisol. The last thing you need is elevated cortisol when you're going through cancer treatments. You're naturally going to have elevated cortisol because of what treatments are doing to your body.
Yeah.
So you don't need to add to it with your food choices. Also, the higher dietary acid load can increase inflammation and also promote calcium loss. So reducing that acid load with with mostly plant-based foods is going to support metabolic balance and reduce inflammatory burden. So it's very fascinating what it does in the process of healing. So this is what I find as the differentiator. So I don't recommend a strict alkaline diet for everyone. Like I said, too restrictive long-term, like Wendy said, it may limit protein too much, which I can tell you, one of the things that I'm battling with my shoulders is not getting enough protein when I've been lazy about it. Not the only reason, but it's one of the potential factors during this time of my life, during perimenopause. So you can't go long term without enough protein in your body. It's just not ideal. And it's also not sustainable for most people.
Yeah.
So the key takeaway for this that I want you all to know is that alkaline style nutrition can be very helpful during active cancer support, during high inflammatory states, and short-term therapeutic protocols. Do not think that an alkaline diet needs to be all the time. And just to give you an idea, you can pull up an alkaline food list.
Right.
If you have somebody in your life that you love that's battling cancer, pull up an alkaline food list off the internet. They're everywhere. And you'll notice very high in fibrous vegetables, very low in sugared fruit.
Yeah, if you're doing strict alkaline, there's no fruit.
Yeah. A little bit of berries here and there would be, like a moderate amount, but it's mainly going to be your more bland and your high fiber vegetables, and it's not going to be meat. So you're going to feel very, very restricted.
Was it, do I remember correctly, Wendy, in that most of the vegetables you should try to eat raw? And if you're going to cook them, I remember not cooking anything for more than 3 minutes.
Yes, very true, because you lose a lot of the benefits of the vegetables, and it's real important to do as much as you can tolerate raw. Also, to
No coffee,
yeah, the
no
coffee is not
dairy,
good.
no
Yeah.
meat.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's tough. I'll be the first to tell you. It is tough. But if you are
Worth
somebody,
it with a goal in mind.
yes, you don't have to do this forever and ever. Amen. Bill was right back on the burgers and all the things when he got on the other side of this.
Yeah.
But ideally, you want to make sure that that environment is therapeutic for healing.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, pull up an alkaline diet list if you know somebody. I'll tell you one thing too. You may see a lot of people recommending juicing for cancer. I do not. I recommend smoothies. I don't recommend juicing for anybody. You know, a lot of people, that has gotten so much press that people do juicing for all these different things. Juicing is actually awful because you lose the benefit. All you're doing is getting the concentrated sugar out of that fruit or vegetable you're juicing. When you are making smoothies, you're keeping all the fibrous material in there, and that's where all the nutrients are. So do smoothies by all means. I was able to get Bill to drink a lot of smoothies when he was battling cancer because it was soothing to his stomach. It was something easy for him to have a little bit at a time and not feel like he had to sit down and eat a whole plate worth of food because he really didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
But make sure that if you are following somebody that's talking about, juicing and doing all this stuff, I've heard of people eradicate their breast cancer by juicing carrots for, eating nothing but juiced carrots for, 6 months. That stuff, I believe, can work, but you're missing out on a lot of what you need when you're juicing versus when you're making smoothies. Also, just to tie it all together, and this will wrap up this whole thing. This isn't just theoretical. We use this approach intentionally. We used this intentionally during my husband's illness, during your husband's illness. And so we know it's credible. We know we've witnessed it ourselves. I've helped. I say, my husband, because obviously I was closest to him. I was able to be the one fixing all this stuff and everything. I've worked with a lot of cancer patients, and that has been the key for them and a lot of them, all they could tolerate were smoothies. Smoothies and blended soups. And they did very, very well with that. So just keep in mind that there are options, but get your brain away from the thought that, oh, I have cancer, so I'm just going to eat whatever, Same thing a lot of women do when they get pregnant. Oh, I'm pregnant. I'm growing another human. I'm going to eat whatever, and that's not the most therapeutic way to look at food when you're going through anything like that.
No.
So alkaline diets don't change your blood pH, but they absolutely change the environment that your cells live in. And that's the bottom line. And when we align our nutrition with how the body was designed to function, we often see that the body responds in very powerful ways. Our bodies, I don't believe were ever designed to have cancer. What our bodies have, the reason why we form these tumors is because we have a buildup of toxins that happens in our body somewhere. A lot of perimenopausal and postmenopausal women, especially, if you're carrying weight around the front of your belly, where so many of us do, that is a safe haven for buildup of cancer cells. And that's why so many women in our age group and beyond get cancer from, in this whole torso area, from your breasts down to your crotch. I mean, just, not trying to be,
Mm-hmm.
graphic, but it's true, and that's why we do, because this is where we carry all this midlife fat.
Yeah.
And if you it is a bed for toxins to just build up. So treat your body well. You don't have to eat an alkaline diet forever. That is something I use when people are actively fighting. You can actively prevent cancer if you are doing everything you can to fuel your body as cleanly as possible. Might you still get it? Sure. There's a lot of environmental toxins we don't have control over. There's, personal care products that, are very toxic. There's a lot of other factors than just the food going in your body, but it's so key to make sure
the food part we can control.
Yes, control what you can.
Yes.
And that will do the best you can to prevent all of that. So
that's right.
Anyway, girl, what you got going on this week?
Lots of doctor's appointments. That seems to be the life right now.
Yeah.
I'm actually this weekend, I am not working, and my oldest great niece is getting married.
Oh,
so I'll be attending her wedding, and Rick's gonna go if he feels like it.
Okay.
He has a pass if he wants a pass.
Yes. Understandable.
So I'm looking forward to that, because I mean, we're all to the point where the family doesn't get together nearly enough.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to get together for something happy.
Yes.
How about you? What you got going on?
I am just trying to get more people excited about this reverse aging pathway. I've already gotten several people started. Nice. This is gonna change the way a lot of people see these programs, because lab work is involved. It's very targeted, a lot like what I was talking about today, targeted nutrition. We are targeting this program specifically to improve metabolic health and reduce inflammation, and it's going to be powerful.
Yes, every program you do is powerful, girl.
Well, I'm very excited about it. And can I just say, for anybody watching who's on my email list, it is nice to know that people are actually paying attention to my emails. I got a response from about 300 people last night when I was testing the code to be able to say, hi, so-and-so on my emails, rather than them just going out generically. And I was told twice how to do it, and both times I was told wrong. So I am not doing it again. I intend to say, hi, friend, hi, Wendy, hi, whatever. And just know that is my heart, but it ain't happening. So, but it's so funny, because I had literally about 300 emails and a couple of texts of people saying, did you mean to send this out? Were you hacked? Is this you? And I'm like, yes, I was trying to figure out a new bit of technology to me, and I screwed it up twice. So I ain't doing it again.
We're all feel you on the technology. We're just give us some grace when the technology department.
Yes. I thought it was so funny. If all I knew is that I had to make sure, because, I'll be honest, when you're a digital creator, whether it be on social media, in your emails, programs I do, and I get no response, immediately you go, oh my gosh, it's terrible. What did I, did I put out something that people don't care about? So to see that people do still read my emails, I was like, yes, okay, great. All I got to do is put out something that's a bummer every now and then, and find out people are still reading. So that's a good thing.
That's too funny.
Anyway, we will be back next week, the last week in March. Can you believe this? What is happening?
Flying.
I am getting ready for after Easter in our community to do our new thyroid support program. It's called Aligned, one that I've built for our community only. So if you guys are interested this is, all for anybody who has never heard me talk about this, all of my short-term programs are being housed in my community now. This is huge. This is something that every time I created a new short-term program, people were handing me hundreds of dollars for each one, if not more, so that they could learn whatever I was teaching in that, 3 to 6 week period. Now, every one of those are included in the cost of the community. And we're wrapping up the group parasite cleanse. We still have the immersion devotional going on with the power to change. We are currently doing a GLP-1 trial, like just a spring challenge. That's 8 weeks. We're in week 6 or 7 of that. So we have a lot going on in there that's included in the cost of the community, which is $374 a year. You couldn't even, the value of this compared to what people used to pay for everything that they're getting in there.
It's all the stuff that you put out, all the information, all the support. You're way more valuable than $374 a year.
I'm giving it away, girl. But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying our community. It's so nice not having to be on social media all the time and putting the majority of my energy in there. All the meal plans, all the e-cookbooks, all the questions being answered, all the supplement recommendations.
There's multiple winners for raffle drawing every month.
That's right. That's right. And as a matter of fact, we're getting ready to do the quarterly drawing too for the first time at the end of March. So we have multiple monthly winners, and then I save up for a big quarterly winner as well as an annual drawing. So very excited about this.
Yes.
So, lots going on in that community. This is the time to join. If you guys want to do our 6-week thyroid support program called Aligned, that will be starting after Easter. And I'm excited. I think this is going to be a great opportunity for a lot of people.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
All right. You guys have an amazing week. Thanks for tuning in as always. Can't believe this is episode 72, girl. We're slowly but surely adding these up. So you guys let us know if there's anything you need from us, anything you want us to talk about. Wendy's on Wellness at gmail.com is our direct email address, or you can reach out to either me or Wendy anytime.
Absolutely.
We love you and appreciate you. You all have a great week.
See you next week.
Yes.